he's here to make us laugh once again. So please put your hands together for our very own comedian, Chris Kahn.
Thank you. All right, fellow Toastmasters, love to present the speech called "Is Social Media Good for Our Society?" It's research, so it won't be as funny, but I'll do what I can. It's amazing to think that just a decade ago, social media was more of a concept for the few than an actual reality for the masses. It's hard to imagine your daily life without social media sites, containing all the personal blogs and posts from friends and family, among streaming video if somebody sent you or a picture. In fact, 47% of Americans in the United States use social media networks in 2011. That's up from 26% in 2008. Did you know social media network sites are the top news source for 27.8% of Americans, ranking below newspapers at 28.8%, above radio at 18.8%, and print publications at 6%. Students who use social media network sites heavily while studying score 20% lower on tests. 35 global heads of state, every U.S. cabinet agency, 84% of U.S. state governors, every major candidate for U.S. president, and more than 40% of our top religious leaders are all on Twitter. In July of 2012, Americans spent a total of 121 billion hours, or billion minutes, on social media network sites. In cases such as these, there are always a strong group of proponents and opponents. The proponents propose social media network sites say that online communities increase interaction with friends and family, offers teachers and students valuable access to educational support and materials, facilitate social and political change, and disseminate useful information rapidly. While the opponents of social networking argue that sites prevent face-to-face communication, waste of frivolous activity time, and alter the child's brain, making them more prone to ADHD, among spreading false and dangerous information. Here are several pros and cons to social media. First pro is social media sites spread information faster than any other media source. Over 50% of people learn about breaking news on social media. 65% of reporters and editors use sites like Facebook and LinkedIn, and 52% use Twitter as tools to help report the local news. Also, did you know that Twitter users and YouTube users reported the Aurora, Colorado shooting before the news crews could even get on site? The Red Cross actually urged the witnesses of that event to contact their friends and family via social media to let them know they were okay. The downside is that social media enables the spread of unreliable and false information. In 2012, rumors of fire, shootouts, and caravans of gunmen in Mexico City were actually spread via Twitter and Facebook, in which flooded police and fire fire departments to this matter and caused an unnecessary closing of schools. Also, someone tweeting as comfortably smug during the Sandy hurricane actually tweeted that the stock exchange was flooded and that the power would be cut off to all of Manhattan, which this bogus information hit national news syndicates such as CNN and the Weather Channel. Pro 2, social networking sites help students do better in school. 59% of students will access the internet and report that they use social media sites to discuss educational topics. And 50% use sites to talk about school. A middle school in Portland introduced social media to engage students in their programs. They saw a rise by 50%, absenteeism went down 33%, and students volunteered for extra credit assignments by 20% school-wide. On the downside, though, is that social media users heavy social media users tend to have lower GPAs. The average heavy social media user tends to have a lower GPA of 3.06 as opposed to somebody who doesn't use it at all at 3.82. Among that, 2/3 of teachers believe that social media does more to distract students than help them academically. 3. Pro 3 is social media sites help employers find employees jobs. 1 in 6 employees actually credit social media for helping them find jobs. 64% of companies are on two or more social media sites recruiting because of the wider pool of applicants. The downside to employment and social media is the fact that it can harm your job because employees or potential employers found a great use of profanity, poor grammar, illegal drug use, sexual content, pictures of or with alcohol, and religious content. 4. Pro 4. Social media network sites facilitate face-to-face interaction. People who use these networks at in-person events and get to know each other before personal, business, and other meetings. Pew Research Center Internet and Life Project found that messaging on social media leads to face-to-face interactions. When plans are made via the sites, and social media users message close friends an average of 39 days each year, while seeing these close friends 210 days a year. The downside is the fact that social media people tend to spend less time interacting with their friends and family. Actually, this has rose from 8% in 2000 to 34% in 2011. 32% of those surveys were on social media or texting during meals instead of talking with friends or family. 10% of people younger than 25 respond to social media and text messaging during sex. Now somebody's not doing something right.
Say that back again, please. Say that back again.
10% of people younger than 25 respond to social media and text messaging during sex.
Wow.
So, all right. But,
My phone just vibrated. I'm hoping it's not.
pro, social media facilitates political change. Social media network sites give social movements a quick, no-cost method to organize, disseminate information, and mobilize people. The 2011 Egyptian uprising was all organized via social media. The downside is it hurts employee productivity. 51% of people aged 25 to 34 access social media at work. 2/3 of workers with Facebook accounts access the site during work hours. And just spending 30 minutes a day for a 50-person company can actually cost the company 6,500 hours of productivity a year. And 51% of workers think work productivity suffers because of social media. With existing social networking expanding, new social networking sites being created for educators, medical professionals, and other groups, and new social media sites popping up every day, with all 24-hour access, it's certainly clear that social media is now pervasive in our world, and that social media has changed the way we interact and receive information for better or worse. The proponents cheer on the benefits and possible advances, while dissenters worry about the dangers and wasted time far outweighing the benefits. While I personally believe, like any great thing, social media is a wonderful tool as long as it's used properly in moderation. Thank you.